Hello knitters, Bailyn from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. And today we have one more yarn that's come in, which is a really great thing. I sort of have what's on I'm wearing, and then I'm going to talk about needle sets and other little gifty ideas because it's time to think about you. And also thoughts towards the new year, so stay tuned. Versa cowl. I love it when I do cowls because I get to hide my face. But anyway, this is our Versa cowl. This is a very, very, very fun cowl. This is a slip stitch pattern, which means you're only carrying one yarn at a time. This, of course, is just striping. This took 2 skeins of the Dream, which is right here, which is DK weight. And you could get, if you made it not quite as wide, you can get 2 out of the 2 skeins. Of course, you can use other things. It's DK weight, could be worsted weight, could be sport weight. It's all good. But this is a very, very, very fun cowl. It's one of my favorites to wear too. It's just so comfortable. Dream is just such a dream. So then the other new yarn we got in is this. It's Poema tweed. And this we call a gradating yarn because the change is so slow. We don't really call it, it's not striping, it just slowly changes colors. And so we call this gradating. It's gradating. And so this particular one is, I think it's mostly merino. Where is it? Lana wool, 94% Lana wool and some viscose. And it's very, very soft. Here's our colors. So we have 3 colors. Those are our colors. Very nice. And then here's the sample we have knit up. So you can sort of see what it does. So we start here, and you can see how slow it changes. Changes very slowly throughout the whole shawl. Yeah, so this is a great, another, in the last minute kind of thing, or start something for yourself. It's time to start something for yourself. If you're done, start something for yourself. The other thing I want to mention is we have the kits. Oh yeah, we have kits. So I'm gonna have to go off camera in a minute. So the Blue Sky fiber, we've got more of the kits in, and I just want to remind you of the minis. We now have this one. Isn't that adorable? Oh my God, it's like winter, and this of course is Christmassy, but doesn't have to be. And I do have a few ideas that I'll talk about maybe next week or the week after. A fun little project to do with this. Hats, obviously, mitts, striping things, crochet, granny squares, any kind of those things. It's a smaller project because there's only, let's see, these are worsted weight too. And there's 250 yards when you put all these together. It's 250 yards worth of yarn. So that's, pretty a striped Mara or a striped mitts. 250 is plenty for fingerless mitts. And you can stripe them. Just let your imagination go. But these are these. So this is one of the new kits we got in. Isn't this great? So there's 14 skeins, all fabulous coloring. This is a perfect blanket kit. Any kind of blanket, like striping blanket, a chevron blanket where you change colors all the time, a mitered square blanket. There's lots of blankets. Just look for blankets with like 10 colors or 7 colors and see what people do with the blankets. And you could, of course, also just split this up and do individual like hats and mitts and whatever. It is also really good for a yoke sweater. You would need a main color, and I would choose probably one of these as my main color. I would choose that one right there myself. But this gray one is good. So, but this would be good for yoke sweaters. There's plenty on here, plenty of colors to choose from. And they all go together because they're here. And so that would be fun too, is to do a yoke sweater out of this. Very fun. Also, there's this pattern for striping. It's not a pattern, it's a picture of a sweater that is just randomly striped. Just randomly striped. It's so cute. So you take any kind of sweater and just start randomly striping. This would work really well for that too. So lots of possibilities for this. I just think it's such a great kit because all the work's been done. I mean, would you put those colors all together? I wouldn't necessarily put all those colors together, but they're perfect. Okay, so now some gift ideas for you. Or if you have a knitter friend or family member, you can do that for them too. But these are things you can put on your list. So interchangeable needles. Interchangeable needles are the best way to go to get your needles. And I know if you've been knitting a long time, you're like, oh my God, I have all these needles. Still, this is I mean, I have a million needles and I use my interchangeables. I do not use my other ones. My other ones sit there and those are the ones I loan out. I use my interchangeables all the time because everything's sort of in one place. I can change up the cords and not be going, I don't have a 16 here. I have a 24, but I don't have a 16 and all that kind of good stuff. I love interchangeables. I've been using them now for 15, I don't know how long it's been since the Knitter's Pride came out, Knit Picks came out. But 15 or 20 years now, and they're really good. So we carry Likey. We carry several brands, but the Likey is one of them. And this is most of the wood ones are this. The Knitter's Pride is the same. They are interchangeable. The cables are interchangeable. They're basically the same. So this is the Likey set. We have one that all of them are different color, and we have one that's like a light green bamboo color, and this is the natural one. Okay, so these go from, I think it was a 4 to a 17, and just think about it, 13, 15, and 17 needles alone. I mean, a 17 needle is like $35. It's very expensive. So right there, you've got, like 3 needles are going to be, I don't know, $80 worth of needles just for those 3 needles. And you have them as a 24, a 32, and a 40 because you have those different size cables. So then if you multiply that out, you've bought a set for just those 3 needles. So they come with cables. These screw on. They come with different lengths of cables. I'm pretty sure these are all, let me read, I'm pretty sure these are 24s, let me see, 24, 32, and 40 inch. And remember, when you're doing cables, the measurement is tip of the needle to tip of the needle. It's not the measurement of the actual cable. It's tip of needle to tip of needle. So like your 24 inch cable, it's going to be smaller than 24 inches. So just FYI. So anyways, but these are fabulous. I love them. I have knitted off these kind of wood ones, the Knitter's Pride, and these forever until 2 years ago. And these, I loved them. They're wood, but they're laminated, so they're smooth and they don't drag, but they're not as slippery as the nickel ones are. And yeah, these are great needles. Perfectly fabulous needles. Then Knitter's Pride came out a couple years ago with the Mindful set. Besides gorgeous packaging, they hit this out of the park. So these needles, this is my personal set, so I've got needles missing, but this is what it looks like. This is the Gratitude set. So this has size 2.5 to 17. The other one was a 4 to 17, so you have 2 more needles in here. And so the difference is these are brushed, very light, and they're brushed metal. And I don't think you can really see that, but they're brushed metal. They each have different words. Each size has different words. Like there's peace, there's exhale, there's rejoice, there's explore and stuff. But other thing is the size is clearly written, which you will not be able to see right there. Clearly written on the needle, so you don't need to do the needle thing. What size is this? It's right there. So these are amazing, amazing needles. The points are what make a big difference on these. And I was going to show you between the two, because when we started knitting with this, we're both like, oh my God, these needles are amazing. The one that's about the same size. So here's the point on the wood ones, and these are all going to be about the same. The wood ones are exactly the same. And here's the point. So you can see this is a longer point. This one's much shorter. A longer point, and it's a pointier point. It's pointier. So it just knits like a dream. These are my go-to needles now. There's a difference of price, but also there's not really, because you also get more needles and more things. But the Likey ones, and I think Knitter's Pride ones, are 135. Yeah, 135 for the set. Now, believe me, that's nothing. To get like a 24, a 32, and a 40 inch needle in a size 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's well worth it, well worth it. And then the Mindful set, this is a $200 set. You have a couple of extra needles, but you'll also have a bag that has all these, a ton of markers, all these different size markers, kinds of markers, needles, a needle check, lots of different things in it. And it's really, really great. So, preference, it's all about preference and maybe money, you know, like if that may do it, which is fine. But then again, these have the different cables. These come with a bag. This is not the bag. This bag, I think, came with this one, which I'll talk about in a minute. This one had an aqua bag with it. But again, it's in the bag that all the goodies are. So in the bag, you have all sorts of goodies. So here are the cables. Here's what cables look like. So here's what cables look like. And you just undo them, you screw the needles on, so you can see how you have different size cables, and you're on your way. So cable needles are effective. Oh, the other thing about them is you can also take the needles off your cable. You get a stopper to put on the end of the cable so that you can use that needle for another project if you need to. So you have this little stopper, again, adorable, and it goes on the end of the cable. No, I'm going to drop something here. So it goes on the end of the cable so your stitches can't come off. So you can take the needles off, but the stitches can't come off. This now becomes a holder, and it's just on your needles. So it becomes a holder. Like if you need holders, you just take it off and you... So you can also buy tips separately. We have tips for this set. Like 7/8 and 9s and cables. We have 24-inch cables, or if you need to, we can always get you some, but you can also just buy tips. Like if you need, I mean, you're gonna need doubles. That's why it's okay that you have other needles, because you know, you might have 2 projects that are using a size 8 needle. What are you gonna do, you know? So, so having doubles of certain sizes is really good because you end up needing them. So that's the needle situation. Oh, and this one also, let me talk about the 16. So they then came out, now 16-inch cable, the needle needs to be smaller. If it's a 5-inch needle, which most of these are, and most needles are, that's too big to make the 16-inch circle. So the needles need to be smaller. So when they first started doing that with the interchangeables, they made the needles really small. They're like that big. And I personally can't, it doesn't work for me. Some people love them. It's, again, preference is a big deal when you're doing different tools and stuff. Preference is everything, all right? But now they have come out with a 4.5-inch needle, which is the perfect needle. So this is a perfect size needle for the 16-inch. And then you actually come in, you actually get, I think it's a 9-inch, 12-inch, and a 16-inch cable. So you actually go down to, I think, the 9-inch. I think that's what it is. But you have several different size cables smaller than the 16 that you can use for this. So that it's really, really good. So these 2 sets together is everything you need. If you only get the bigger set, you will need a set of 16s. Like if you already have a lot of 16 needles, then use your 16 needles. I've been doing that forever. Like I have a set that's my 16-inch needles, the kind of needle that I like, and I have a set of them, you know, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12s, or 13s, or whatever, and I've been using those. But this now came out, and so I now use these, and they're fabulous. So that's the ideas behind interchangeables. There's other tricks you can do because you have interchangeable knits, needles that you can mess with that help with knitting a little bit. But so that's a good idea for either you. I hope it's for you. Just send them in here and tell them to get, you know, what we will know what you need. And so that's sort of the gifty ideas. Oh no, we got bags. We got new bags. So Christine found some new bags. They're not technically knitting bags, so they're a little different, but they're really cute. So the first one that's the cutest is this one. I know that probably backwards, but it says stash, obviously. And it's just this cute little bucket bag, literally stands up, totally stands up. Your knitting project, oh my God, this is so cute. And these are so affordable. This is $23.99. And then we have a little bit bigger bags that you can put bigger projects in, a bit more stuff in. So there, it does have a pocket up here. And again, these stand up. They totally stand up. Isn't that cool? So we have this one, we have this one, we have, I don't know, there's probably 8 different designs I love this one. This is very Mary Mecco from the 70s and 80s. And we have this one. So these ones run $32.99. That is really good for a project bag. They're usually $40, $50. So these are great. We have them in stock. So yeah, these are the great gift ideas for yourself. I mean, buy a bag and fill it with yarn. Right? And then now towards the new year, yay. So towards the new year, I tend to like to sort of figure out a focus for my year. Nothing I have to like, well, it depends on you. You can either like really focus in and like 90% of your projects all have whatever technique it is you're wanting to get down this year. Or you can give it as a general, like, okay, let's say I want to really work on cables this year. So if I'm choosing between, I'll try to choose sweaters that have some cables in them. Or I'll try to do a hat that has cables in them. Or I'll do a mitt that has cables in them, that kind of thing. Or if I'm choosing between two sweaters, this one has cables, this one doesn't, maybe I'll do this one so I can learn my cables. So it's sort of fun to have sort of a focus. And it could be cables, it could be lace, it could be color work, it could be intarsia, it could be mosaic, it could be construction, learn how to do top-down raglan sweaters, learn how to sew up a piece sweater, learn how to measure and get myself sweaters that fit me really well. So there's lots of different ways. Learn how to make a sock. Oh my God, learn how to make a sock. Takes more than one pair, but use baby socks as your learning tool. So anyways, it's sort of fun to just have a direction that sort of can guide you through the year and your projects, or not, you know, just an idea, just a thought. And then the other thing coming up next month, we start our 5th year of our blanket square class. Yeah, 5th year. Okay, so our square, blanket square, probably gonna have this upside down, wrong side out, all sorts of stuff. Anyways, blanket squares. So we do 2 squares a month, basically, 2 squares a month. You can choose between 16 and 20 squares. So if you don't want to make, if you only want to do 1 a month, you could do 16. You'll have a couple that you'll have to do too, but you could do 16 and it'd be a little bit smaller baby blanket. This is actually 16. And then I have the other squares that I added. They weren't this color. This was done, so I didn't put it on here. So this is the 4th Sunday of every month from 10 to 12 in the morning. And you learn a ton. So you learn how to read patterns, you learn a bunch of different kinds of stitches, you learn how to read your knitting, you learn tons of tricks and tips on how to do knitting. You learn pattern reading, I said that, and confidence. You gain tons of confidence. By the end of the year, you're like, oh, I can knit stuff that I didn't just on my own. I can pick up a pattern and I can start a project and knit it. That's good. And then even if you're one person who's knitted a lot, even the people who I know, have taken the class that have been knitting quite a while, they still said, I learned so much in this class. So we start in January. It's all the way till the end of it's all the way to Thanksgiving. We get done by the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and yeah. So we're going to take sign up. So you can call anytime now and get signed up. The yarn will not be in until the middle of January. So don't need to come in rushing for yarn. It's not here yet. We got too much this yarn. We got to sort of clean out the shelves and make room. So we use a DK weight DK weight merino. It's a lovely, lovely yarn. Washes and dries perfectly. Lots and lots of different colors. So yeah, so mid-January is when the yarn will be in, and you can come get it. And we typically use 3 colors. There's variations on a theme, obviously. 3 colors, and then depending on how many blocks, how many of each of those 3 colors you need. And then yeah, so I made a video last year about it. So I'm going to link the video down here. It goes a little bit more in depth, and there's some people talking about the class and stuff. So if you want to watch that, it's below here in YouTube, and it's also on the news. Actually, I just thought that I'm going to put the video at the end of this video. So after the credits, the blanket class video will run. So if you're interested, just keep watching. So I guess that is it for now, and I hope to see you in the studio real soon. Bye. blanket. So this is a year-long class. This will be our 4th year doing this blanket. It's a year-long class that you learn lots of things about knitting. Like you learn a ton of techniques. You learn about pattern reading. I find that everybody that takes this class, whether they're a beginning knitter or an advanced knitter, come at the end of the year and say, I've learned so much about knitting in this year. And so the blanket has, all the squares are different. There's 20 squares and all of them are different. You end up, we typically get 3 colors, and you see everything's really different. You got bobbles, you got cables, you got striping, you got lace, you got fair isle, you got stitch patterns, you have a cabled owl, and jacquard, you got all these stitch patterns. And one thing you definitely learn is what you like and don't like. Like if you'll figure out whether you like lace or you don't like lace, or you like cables and you don't like cables. Those kinds of things, you'll figure that out pretty quickly. But at least you figured it out on a little 10 by 10 block and not a sweater or something that you bought tons of yarn for and you're like, oh God, I hate doing lace. I don't want to do lace. Or I love doing cables. Thank God I got, So you figure out things that you like. Fair isle is another one that's a big technique, and lots of things are fair isle right now. So so you learn a lot, whether you're new to knitting or at advanced and been around knitting for a while. I hear from everybody how much I learned from doing this class. So you'll learn the pattern reading. You'll learn pattern reading, which is really, a lot of people's like, oh, I don't understand the patterns, which, yeah. You learn how to fix things. And then you just learn tons of different things. It's a year-long class. We meet once a month, the 4th Sunday of every month. And so you get to know everybody, which is really fun because you're on sort of a journey with a group of people, and it's the same people all the time. So that's really fun to do. And then by the end of the year, you actually have a finished blanket. And so it's just a lovely, lovely way to advance your knitting skills no matter where you are in your knitting journey. You will advance your knitting skills by doing this project. So it's the 4th Sunday of the month, and 10 to 12. So come in January and go through, we'll have lots of colors of chow, and you can come in and pick your colors and all that kind of good stuff. A lot of people pick, colors that match their house, or if you're doing it for somebody, then, colors they like, or that kind of thing. And you can go pretty neutral with the colors too. You don't have to have bright colors. They can be, creams and sort of beiges and a taupey brown or something, or gray and a taupey brown or something like that, so that it stays very muted. It doesn't have to be really super colorful. So, but it can be anything you really want it to be. So come in, you'll need 3 colors, 5 of each color, 5 skeins of each color, and then 1 accent color. You don't have to do, it's your blanket. There's lots you can do more than 3 colors. You can do 2 colors. It's really hard to do 1 color because there's a lot of blocks that you can't stripe with 1 color. You can't fair isle with 1 color. So there's several blocks that you can't do with 1 color. But you could use 2 colors, and they could be colors that are very close to each other. Like a cream and a beige, or a cream and a light tan color, or something like that. So it stays very neutral. It doesn't have to be colorful. So it can be whatever you want. And so I hope you consider taking our class for the year, and it's lots and lots of fun. At the end, at the next segment up is going to be videos of people talking about the class and pictures and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, latest summer project, and I love this one because I'm going to wear it for beach cover-up, although I had to wear it today to show everybody. And I have learned so much in 10 months. I have made multiple sweaters and scarves and hats, and I can't get enough.
And a lot of it came from what you learned in the squares?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of stitches, a lot of, and then of course Tinking is a great teacher too. But,
yeah. Everybody takes that, you guys. It's all okay. 3.
I love this class because I learned color work for the first time so that I can make this.
Yay!
I was always scared of it, but it turned out great.
And what colorway is that?
This is the
San
Clemente Seaside here.
So
It's
yay!
so soft. Love it.
Amazing, amazing. Best thing ever. Thank you.
Blanket class is Sunday every month. It was fantastic. You learn so much about any kind of stitches you can imagine. Color work, all kinds.
Yep.
Laces, cables, you name it, is all in there. So I knitted
Yeah.
blanket, the whole giant, every square. I learned all kind of stitches, so many of them. And I learned how to knit beanie, baby sweater, hoodie sweater, adult tank top. I just unbelievable. All my family was shocked. I can do that. They said, oh my God, you're actually able to do that and you stick with it? Failing gave me so much encouragement. So I thank her very much.
So when I started blanket class, all I knew how to do was knit and purl. First square, cable square. Next thing I knew, I was knitting an awesome sweater with the cable down the back. I've learned how to do lace work. I've learned how to do slip stitches. I've learned how to do color work. It is fantastic. I highly recommend it. I can't even believe I can pick up a pattern now and not go, huh? It's awesome. I've learned so much, and I'm actually sad that it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready to learn more.
Thank you.
Hi, I am loving the square class. It has been so fantastic. I've been knitting about a year, and this class has given me so much confidence to pick up a pattern. And if I'm not coming to workshop on Thursday, and it might be a Monday, I'm not intimidated to look at the patterns and know from the squares different stitches, different pattern types, and it has been so fantastic. It's so creative. You basically can't mess up, and it's just tons and tons of fun. I highly encourage anyone who wants to know more about different pattern types, different stitch types, or just do something really creative and fun to definitely sign up for this class. I've loved it. Good luck.